The drive through the mountains of Tennessee, Cumberland Gap if not mistaken, was amazing. The telluric energy was so powerful, quenching a thirst I hadn't realized I'd suffered living so long in the limestone and muck of Florida, or initial forays into continental life which Jax offers. Georgia, lovely as it is, doesn't begin to shine until the hills rise wild, lit in shimmering white of early morning mist. Sadly, Kitty was not enjoying it, as he had gone when I came out from the hotel room I had rented. I'd fed him pouch tuna, and he had apparently recovered from the 5 hours of desperate panting to keep himself cool, as I have no AC and only 2 functioning windows at present. The ascent into the mountains was uncomplicated, but descending was further challenged by what I then thought was a low tire. Today I found out that the tire was ready to come apart, likely from yesterday's return trip at maximal controllable speed. I had them replace the front pair. Once in Nashville, I drove to the venue, but confused it for the place across the street, of which I took photos, and may post them if you let me know. From there, I saw the music hall, found my hotel, fancy. The only iconic Nashvillian meal I had wasn't great, but Will Arnold from my social media informed me that I chose the wrong protein. Vanderbilt District was wonderfully familiar to a larger, more vibrant University of Florida, and the mottled brickwork at the corner spoke to me of Reconstruction/ism. Bought a binder, sheet protectors, a 5-star notebook, and one each of black, blue, and magenta pink click pen. With these, I assembled my printed lyrics, reread them, and then got to work on new lyrics. One good one came from this time, and one in the rough awaiting sober editing. This morning I wrote the 13th, printed it, and added it to my binder. Sunday at the end was Marissa Nadler and Company, 20th of 20 stops, back in Nashville. She was very kind to make time for me in moments she could rest between personal readiness, meeting visiting friends who were very pleasant and upbeat, and then getting her game face on for the show. First was a group whose name I never fully grasped or retained, one or the other, but the duo were likewise great fun to speak with and welcoming. Links to the acts are listed in the doobly-doo below. The acoustic guitar, banjo, and backing vocals were a dreamy, hypnotic, very subtle Americana, as perceived with one ear open, napping on the couch in a safe place like home. It couldn't have been a better introduction to their sound, and was a fantastic opening of the way, as it were. Next came the Nashville Ambient Ensemble. The keyboardist was kind enough to speak with me about the local scene, and the ensemble in particular, which was fascinating. Their music is very serpentine, very complex, and by what I count as their 3rd or 4th piece of their set, suddenly of much higher energy and complexity. Brain stem to violin, electronics, and guitar. My already addled brain was blooming like an alien flower under the ensemble star. Marissa Nadler took stage, and as I stared at the floor throughout all but a few moments to look up, I was in the best mix of her music, old and new, with hints that something heavier is breeding in the dark wings. Marissa's self-effacing humor at the troubles she had with the particular entry point of Lemon Queen was so heartening. She's a real human, much to our delight. The hijinks with her tour mates not being on the same literal page and being surprised by the next song was fun rather than consternating, and illustrates not only their familiarity with her work, but the camaraderie they share. The bassist, drummer, FX Pedal, overseer, bard, whose name I either never clearly heard or which leaked out of my mind. This guy is quick-witted and clutch, as his musical chops illustrate. Milky, likewise, not only a seasoned Marissa Nadler tour vet, was similarly humorous and sharp to adapt to the changing situation directed by the woman herself. I picked up 4 CDs, had a few additional moments of chat with Marissa, and walked out with perhaps 20 minutes to spare on my prepaid parking. A lot more to be said. During my stay, I saw 2 episodes 2 and 3, of House of the Dragon, which is surprisingly great, like a high-budget British TV production of one of the rarer Shakespearean dynastic plays. Also caught the HBO Elvis flowing montage production, which was almost too fluid in flowing. Great, but too much, I think. The third, Wonderful Beasts, with Mads Mikkelsen. Swoon. I am not your enemy, nor have I ever been. Paraphrase. He excels in Satanologies, especially Hannibal, and this role. I then caught the most important portion of Pawn Sacrifice, which was also very good. Okay, ice out. Please, don't let YouTube and streaming services be the only support you give your fave artists. Once again, official links in the doobly-doo below.